Welcome, everyone, to the 313 Believe podcast. I'm your host, Harry Berberian, and 313 Believe is a podcast that talks about all things Detroit, and we are the brand that believes in Detroit. And we have personalities, people, and places that are all positive about Detroit and the positive things going on. We specialize in entrepreneurs coming out of Michigan. And today we have Larry Smith from BioGreen, Michigan on the show. And Larry has something that is a tool that, my God, we're fighting this thing, the coronavirus right now. He has something out there. He's been sounding the alarm, it sounds like, for years, and finally it's arrived. Larry Smith, welcome to 313 Believe, and tell us about BioGreen, Michigan.
Well, hi, Harry. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. We founded BioGreen in 2009.
Wow. 11 years ago. Yep.
Yeah, so we've been around for 11 years. And essentially what we created was a risk reduction service, a disinfection service that comes into a facility, any facility, and uses a dry mist to disinfect all the surfaces in the air. So when we leave that facility, we call it a clean baseline. Bacteria has been removed, viruses deactivated, and mold and odors are killed at a molecular level. So we do that on a monthly basis. It has a residual effect, so the growth rates are reduced and tamped down, and it reduces the risk of outbreak.
Wow. So BioGreen Michigan has a dry mist that literally cleans places of all the bacteria and viruses. Namely, it can destroy the coronavirus. Is that correct?
Yes. Viruses are deactivated. Essentially, you just deactivate, you split the membrane so that it can't replicate.
Interesting.
Yes. It's virucidal, it's bactericidal, it's fungicidal, and it's has 100% green attributes. According to the EPA, a disinfectant cannot be labeled as green because it kills. That's the EPA standards. They're about 10 years behind.
Mm-hmm.
But what we do, our treatment is eco-friendly and human-friendly. It's also certified.
Wow, eco-friendly, human. So what is this dry mist that BioGreen Michigan is serving institutions? What is it made out of? What is this magical potion?
Well, the magical active ingredient is stabilized chlorine dioxide.
Interesting. And what is that?
Which sounds ominous, and nothing could be further from the truth. It's a very friendly chemical. Of course, chlorine dioxide has been used in drinking water and to clean vegetables and a wide variety of things for decades. So this particular compound, again, is a very, very efficient killer of bacteria, virus, mold. It's an EPA-approved hospital-grade disinfectant.
Wow.
So we can't, in our business, you can't make any claim that's not substantiated by the EPA.
So why aren't the planes, the nursing homes, the senior care facilities, the whatever why aren't they busting down your doors right now? How do people find out about BioGreen Michigan? How can they contact you?
Well, oddly enough, they are busting down my door right now.
Gotcha.
What's odd is why they don't bust down the door during normal times, and that's, my theory on that is that we're a very reactive society. We're not a very proactive society. We don't do a lot of things to reduce risk, and that's what we do. We reduce that risk. So now people are using us simply as a disinfection. So we come in. I mean, if I told you all the places that have called me this week, you would be amazed. So they're coming out of the woodwork. They want us because they know we've been doing this for a long time and we know the proper tools and, the ways to do this.
So everyone's calling you after the fact.
Exactly. I think, though, there is going to be a fundamental change in the way people approach risk reduction, because this is something that we've never seen. We've never seen anything like this in the history of our society. When the Spanish flu came through in 1918, Harry, there wasn't an NBA to shut down. There wasn't baseball. There wasn't an airline industry to shut down. So this is very new to all of us.
Yeah.
And I think it's a wake-up call So I think a lot of the customers, municipalities, all across every spectrum, I think these people will remain BioGreen customers and use this as a risk reduction tool, because after this, I think that the value's pretty clear.
I mean, I'm curious. I hate to ask this, but let's say you were to use the dri-mist, the stabilized chlorine dioxide, spray down like an airplane, and then let's say some people came in on board that had the coronavirus. Is it less? So is it less likely to disperse because the agent was there, or you're just bringing it down to the baseline and just ridding the airline of what was already there?
Well, it's a great question. It's twofold. One, if there was anything there when we leave that plane, for example, it's not there anymore. It's deactivated.
It's deactivated.
So that's...
By the way, is the coronavirus, it's a big, bad, scary thing, but it sounds like from your perspective, your stabilized chlorine dioxide, it sounds like it's a major weapon against the coronavirus, and you can just deactivate it. It sounds like the coronavirus is like, it's just going to go skimpering away like a scared little dog or something. It sounds like it can just be evaporated. Is that true, that the coronavirus really cannot withstand your dri-mist?
Yeah, it'll deactivate the virus on contact. That's
amazing.
The issue is how this is being spread. I mean, you cannot soft pedal what we're going through. So anybody who says that this is just another flu, that this is not serious, that is just not the case. This is something that we've never seen. The infection rates are much higher than they were with SARS, H1N1. The transmission rate is higher. The death rate is higher. So closing all these facilities and taking...
And coronavirus might not be the end-all be-all. There might be something looming.
Oh, we're gonna see these things every 2-3 years. This is a pattern. I mean, we've been in this business for 11 years, and we've already lived through, I think this is our fourth one in 11 years. So, yeah, we'll see one in another 2 years and another 3 years, and hopefully we'll be better prepared for the one in 2 years or 3 years, whatever. Hopefully it doesn't come along, but it will. We live in a very global society, and so if something happens on the other side of the world, it makes its way here, and we just have to be ready for it. So all I'm saying to people is, if you reduce the risk of an outbreak all the time, if you do that once a month, when it does hit, your risk is greatly reduced as opposed to everyone else's. And going back to the plane, Harry, we would decontaminate that plane or whatever that area was, and then that formula stays on the surface, so that if a coronavirus landed on that surface, it would still act to unroll the RNA in that virus for a period of a week to 3 weeks.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, I mean, what do you recommend now to businesses in the 21st century? It's 2020. What do you recommend is BioGreen Michigan now preparing and taking precautionary, proactive steps to prepare people, and businesses against potential major life-threatening viruses? I mean, what is your plan of attack? What do you recommend? Like, how often do you do this dri-mist in the proactive indoor containment industry? Your stabilized chlorine dioxide. How often do you do this? We want BioGreen.
We're typically an every 30-day service, because the residual factor is going to last for 2 to 3 weeks. So you're constantly creating a clean baseline, and then it's tamped down. So, because the next day, let's be honest, the next day after we treat, I don't care what the facility is, somebody comes in, they may have the flu, they cough, so it's reintroduced. So it's important that you have this inhibiting factor. And then it just prevents the spread. I'll give you a great example. We now get calls from people every winter who want us to treat only during the flu season. And so, but they don't call before people in their office get the flu. What they do is they call after, 5 or 6 people have the flu. We go in and treat. Instead of treating once a month, we treat twice a month typically in these situations. And miraculously, the flu bug doesn't run through those offices again for the rest of flu season. So
that's amazing. More effective than the vaccine, no flu
yeah. So my contention is, why wouldn't you just actively do that before the flu season, and then do it through the flu season? And I understand a lot of our customers take the summer off because, depending on the industry, people don't congregate, and sunlight and heat does wonderful things to bacteria.
So are you saying that businesses should use your services once or twice a month at as little as 3 cents a square foot?
What I'm saying is, in the time of an outbreak or the time of a crisis, I recommend doubling up on services. Not everybody's going to do that, and that's fine. All I'm saying is, this is a service that's very cost effective. It's pennies per employee.
I mean, very cost effective. Think how much the human toll.
Yeah, I mean, well, for the businesses where, let's say it's a business of 30 people, it's a relatively small business, and 5 of those people are out with the flu. There's a real cost to that. Somebody else has to pick up that slack, or something falls through the cracks. The cost of our business, the cost of our treatment is far, far less than even what the cost of one of those employees is going to set your business back. So it's just a cost-effective way of reducing the risk of an outbreak, should there be one, spreading. It's a very simple concept. It works. And again, I've always been mystified why more people don't use it. But again, I think we're a reactive society. We're not a very proactive society.
Right. People, they don't have retirement plans. They don't have. They don't. When the crisis comes, they're not prepared. So how do people get a hold of you, Larry Smith, and BioGreen Michigan? Because it sounds like Michigan and your services. It's been around since 2009. You're the epicenter of the kind of services the whole world needs. So how do they contact you? How do we order your services? How do we get a hold of you?
You can go on the website, and there's a contact form there. It's biogreenmichigan.com. You can email me. I've been fielding a couple hundred emails a day. I get back to everybody. I don't sleep a lot these days. It might take me a little while to get back to you, but I'll get back to you before the end of that day or the next day. And my direct email is lcsmith@biogreenmichigan.com.
lcsmith@biogreenmichigan.com. That's
Yes.
great. Do you have any plans to expand as it expands from Michigan to the world, or?
Well, when we originally began this business, we started looking at a franchise model, and we actually sold the rights to that franchising model to a company up in Quebec, and so they're franchising across Canada. We're relooking at that model for here in America. So there are companies that have approached us about that, and we're kind of taking that into consideration. Right now, we've been very localized. We've done jobs in multiple states over the years, but for right now, we're Michigan-based.
Well, that's amazing. But this is great, Larry Smith. You're making a difference. BioGreen Michigan. I heard you're not even. You've determined not to even raise your prices during this time, that you're more of a compassionate company that's going to not gouge the public when they need your services the most.
No, I feel pretty good when I get up in the morning, when I lay my head down, that we're helping people. This was designed to help people, to reduce risk of outbreak. And so no, we've had the same pricing structure for probably 6 or 7 years. And
It's amazing.
I know that people have come to me and said, well, listen, you can triple your price during this time frame, but no, we're keeping the same pricing structure because, again, I want these
that says a lot.
To stay with us for years.
That says a lot.
I'm not viewing this as a one-time event.
Yeah. So, folks, please check out biogreenmichigan.com. Larry Smith is at your service. This is 313-BELIEVE, the brand that believes in Detroit. It's been such an honor, Larry, for you to come on our show, get the message out and during this crucial time. And we thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much on this Friday, and take care, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Harry. I appreciate it so much.
Perfect.